Don't know if you've ever watched my videos, but let's just say I'm addicted to reanimating things. So in this video, I'm going to reanimate One Piece. I've never really been too much of a One Piece fan until I started seeing the animation in recent episodes, and believe me, they're really good. Anyways, you get the point. Because my eyes was blessed with peak One Piece animation, I've decided to animate something from the show. Now, this is the clip I'll be reanimating. This clip seems like something I can pull off. It's just a scene of him doing the Gum Gum Gatling move. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's basically punch barrages. Now it's time to open up Flip a Clip and get to animating. As always, before I'd get to cooking, I'll need to draw up the storyboard first. First, Luffy flips and lands on a mountainside, then he jumps off and does the Gomu Gomu Gatling move, but Enel catches him mid-punches and slams him into the ground. Seems like a pretty chill storyboard. Now let's see if I can pull it off. I chose a red-colored stickman to be Luffy and got right into animating. I started out animating the backflip he did at the beginning of the clip. So basically, he flips into the mountainside, then jumps back up into the air. Usually when I'm making my animations, I start out with the character animation first, then I add the clothes, backgrounds, and effects. So in this animation, I started with the base animation of the characters first, then I worked my way up to the others. I picked the black stickman to be his opponent, Enel. In this cut, while Luffy is throwing barrages, he grabs Luffy's arms and swings him down, trying to slam him into the ground. For the next cut, I animated Luffy with his arms stretched out being swung across the air, basically a recreation of what happened in the anime clip. This part was kinda hard to animate because I had to animate his stretched arms being twisted as he was swinging down. I eventually pulled it off and went on to animate the next cut. At this part, Luffy was brought down with speed. He then smashes his head into the ground. The ending seemed like it was too basic, so I had to do something challenging. Instead of just going with the simple ending, I decided it would be a lot cooler if he slams into the ground and everything explodes in slow motion. I figured it'll make the animation feel a lot more cinematic, so I went for it. To pull off the slow motion effect basically took me about 8 frames duplicated on 3s, 4 and 5s, in total about 24 frames. I made sure to animate the black stickman on the same timing as well. Drawing and animating the elongated arms was so exhausting, because it was kinda hard to draw it from a perspective since it was a stretched out arm. Anyways, I tried my best and ran with it. On a different layer, I added heads to the stickman. I usually add the heads after animating the bodies because it helps me keep the stickman size consistent. Immediately after, I got to animating his clothes because animating clothes generally takes me so much time. For this animation, I'll keep it simple. I'll only be animating Luffy's clothes. But before I continued the clothes animation, I went back to animate the punch barrages. To make it even better, I added in the blur smear effect. If you're wondering how you can animate something like this, I've made a video on it. Be sure to check out the tutorial link and get to learning. After I had finished animating the punch barrages, I noticed that the part where his hands gets grabbed by Enel didn't look too smooth, so I had to adjust some frames and throw in a couple in-betweens. Afterwards, I got back to animating clothes. I animated the clothes on 1s and 2s at the parts where he made fast moves, and 3s at the parts where he moves slowly. I wouldn't want to keep you waiting for so long, so I'll speed up the whole time lapse, but if you want to watch the full, raw, uncut version, you can always check it out on the second channel. At the part where he lands, since I decided I wanted the crash land to be in slow motion, I decided to animate the clothes flapping in slow motion too. As you can probably tell by now, it took me a long time to finish animating the clothes, but I had fun with it. And to all my new animators out there, don't forget animating requires a lot of patience, so be sure not to beat yourself up when you can't get some things right on the first try. After animating the clothes, I decided to do something extra. To give the animation more power, I figured it'll be really cool if I added impact frames right before he slams the ground. Anyone who's been watching the channel can tell how much I enjoy animating impact frames. Anyways, let's get back to animating. Before I got on with animating the impact frames, I decided it'll probably be better if I added in the backgrounds first, so I went back to the previous frames to add in a mountain background I had already drawn on Ibis paint. At the point where Luffy slams the ground, I animated the rocks exploding out the ground. It started out fast, then rose up in slow motion, because that's basically how this whole scene goes, so I kept the timing of everything relative. After animating the rocks, I had the idea to also animate tiny rock particles alongside them. It makes it look better. Finally, it's time to animate the impact frames. For the impact frames, I animated a sort of rotating star. I traced the white lines across the stickman's position using the onion skin as a guide. While tracing, I took notice of the starlight and its position. This helps me decide how I position the white strokes of the impact frames. I'll speed up the impact frames time-lapse now, but you can always watch the uncut version on the second channel. After I had finished with the impact frames, I decided to add in this little glow effect to the star. It makes the impact frames pop a lot more. Next thing I did was to animate some background wind effect while Luffy is jumping in the air. On a layer below, I simply draw the dash lines with the black pen, then eventually I'll reduce the opacity to give the high-speed wind effect. Animating the wind effect took me quite some time to finish. I think about 40 minutes generally was all it took, but my hands were exhausted from all that work. Anyways, enough yapping. Enjoy this short animation time-lapse. Animating so many dash lines was so exhausting. Anyways, I finished up the animation, exported and edited it, and this was the result. That's all for this video. If you really enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like button and check out more videos here. I'll see you in the next one.